Now let's talk about an important design principle in software engineering called separation of concerns. This principle recommends that we should divide a program into distinct sections where each section handles a specific functionality rather than having everything in one place. With this, our programs will be more modular, easier to understand, maintain, and modify. Now, modularity provides a number of benefits. If our programs are modular, we can build and test these modules independently and reuse them in other programs. In modular programs, each module is responsible for a single concern, similar to how people working at a restaurant have distinct roles. For instance, a chef only cooks and a server only takes orders. Modular programs are the same way. Now, in a module, all the complexity and implementation details are hidden behind a well-defined interface. As an analogy, think of the remote control of your TV. This remote control has a fair amount of complexity, but all that complexity is hidden behind just a few buttons. Those buttons represent the interface of a remote control. If we build our modules this way, they will be easier to reuse in other programs. Now, some people argue that CSS in JS violates the separation of concerns principle because we put everything in the same file. But that's not the main idea behind separation of concerns. This principle doesn't dictate whether we should put everything in one file or spread across multiple files. Instead, it emphasizes that different sections or modules in a program should handle specific functionalities, and all the complexity around a piece of functionality should be hidden behind a well-defined interface. Now, in this case, all the complexity around a list group is hidden behind a well-defined interface. These props that we have here, like heading, items, and so on, these are like the buttons on a remote control. They represent the interface of our list group component. The consumer of this component, in this case, the app component, doesn't care what is behind this interface. It doesn't care whether we put everything in one file or multiple files. So in my opinion, CSS in JS doesn't really violate the separation of concerns, but if you don't like this approach, that's totally fine. You should use the approach that works for you and your project.